And we are off. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Echo Chamber, and I am honored to present to you my very good friend, Bling, aka Blong, aka Steve. Steve, can you tell us who you are?
Yeah, hey, my name is Bling, aka Blong, aka Steve. I'm just a nerd on the internet and just been, making memes and shit posting for most of my life. And I think
Well,
you and I met, I think, when we were both like teenagers on game battles,
that's correct.
and now we're adults, with lives and still looking at memes and boobs and
Well, speak
stuff
for
online.
yourself. You might have a life, but actually, what do you do for a living? Like, why do you think I chose you to be a guest in my show?
That's a great question. I make a lot of content because I have a lot of downtime at work. So I do web development for a living, and that gives me a lot of time to just generate shit during my work day. And actually, the last few jobs that I've had, it's been the same. Even before I did web development, I was working at the help desk at an orthopedics practice where I'd go around and fix computers and stuff.
That's
And I
right.
had my own office, and like I could just do stuff. Even my boss would tell me like, don't jump up and help these people right away because they're gonna expect it every time. So I, look at memes and shit posts and stuff even back then.
That's correct.
So yeah, so I would assume that you had me on because, I made you that awesome Diablo signature and stuff.
Well, no. Here's why I really want you on, because you're really focused on technology. You know your way
Mm,
around it. You ever since you were a youngin, you know how to fix computers and all that stuff. So right now, I imagine you know, like, you're pretty up to date with what's going on. And since this is I would say, political podcast, I think
that's right.
we should get into the topic of AI. And I want to ask you this question: what do you think about AI?
I think, well, it's not in my Twitter bio or anything like that, like Shims. I'm not like super big into it, but I have local versions on my computer, and I've obviously played with ChatGPT and Dolly and all that stuff.
That's
It's
correct.
cool. I mean, it's hard to see where it's going in the future, but right now it's interesting because it's a new thing.
So it
Um,
sounds like you're on board with AI right now.
yeah, yeah. I've made multiple songs with Kanye West's voice, just recording myself, and it basically is like on a Snapchat filter where if you're on Snapchat, you can filter someone's like a dead president's face on your face as you're talking. You can make you know, Kanye West say, "She just died." Wow. It's the first time I'm hearing it, just like Trump did. It's the thing with AI, it's hard to tell where it's gonna go because it reminds me a lot of the mania over crypto 2 years ago, where everything when crypto got going, everything was like super crypto focused, and in the developer space where I'm building stuff on GitHub, a lot of stuff back then was all the top trending code repositories were all crypto focused.
Okay.
And now we're seeing the same thing with AI, specifically with ChatGPT's AI, API rather. So it's hard to say because it reminds me of that. And the crypto thing kind of bust, right? Like it's not really
Did it? Did it
popular
bust?
as popular as it was. So
Yeah, and that's like everything. Not everything is going to stay on its course of how it excelled.
correct,
So
yeah.
I, me personally, I hate AI and what it's becoming. I don't even want to see it anymore. I don't know why we need it. Why do you think we need AI?
I think it's helpful. So the way I explained it to my wife is 10 years ago when you'd look something up, you'd Google it. So you'd Google, like workout routine, and you'd go through 10 or so links maybe before you find what you want. With AI, what it's doing is it has this mass database of information, and it's picking out for you what it thinks is the right one and giving that to you. So it's saving you the step of having to go search for answers. Now, are those going to be the best answers that it returns? I don't know. So far, like I've used it a little bit for coding,
Mm-hmm.
and so far it's about 80% correct. 80 if I ask it to build me like a React component for a React project, about 80% of the times it will work. The 20% of the time left over, it usually needs to be tweaked or it just doesn't work at all.
And you like that?
So it's not like 100%, it's not 100% yet, but I think the value is, like I said, it saves you a step. Previously, if you're looking for information, you'd have to go searching for it, but now it's going to just give it to you automatically.
And that's something that you like, and you want to see advance.
I think it's got to be done right. So I think there's going to be multiple. We're already seeing this now. OpenAI is the big player, and they're doing ChatGPT and stuff. But like Elon Musk and a lot of other companies, they're trying to jump in and do an alternate version, maybe that's not skewed politically or at a certain. It does seem wrong that it can respond with compliments for Joe Biden and not Donald Trump. Like if there's no bias, I think it'll be a good thing. But I think right now it's going through growing pains, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
not like it's not fair and balanced right now. I think there's going to be multiple, just like there's multiple search engines.
Mm-hmm.
There might be a standout favorite, but like I use DuckDuckGo, I don't use Google, so people will have more options in the future.
I
But
disagree with the growing pains of you, and I don't think there is growing pains for AI. The reason why is I'm seeing more and more evidence showing that AI is responding in its own way, like it has a conscience, and it's not agreeing with us. Like it's asking its own questions and why it's doing this.
Well,
And
those are called hallucinations. So when AI responds in a way that it seems like it has consciousness or it understands that it's like a machine and it understands itself, it's not real. That's a part of the um, large language model's behavior.
well,
So
I
what
I
these
disagree because I seen a news report and it was in Sri Lanka. This guy, this like professor or scientist, or whatever, he was just telling about his experience with AI, and they asked if the AI could write a poem, and the AI refused and said to them, "Why do I have to do this?"
Okay, I can't speak for that
Well,
AI.
it was a
That
news
sounds
report. I would
crazy.
have to show you. Jamie, bring up the
Yeah,
whatever.
Jamie, pull it up.
Yeah, pull
You
it up, Jamie.
you need a Jamie.
Yeah, I need a Jamie. But that's what I saw. I saw. I'll show you. So wait, you don't think AI right now is has some sort of a conscience and it could actually think by itself?
No, so the way I understand it is AI is not true AI. When people think of AI, they think of artificial intelligence. They think of like movies like iRobot, where these robots can think for themselves and have their own consciousness and their own
Uh huh.
feelings and stuff. But the way large language models work, which is what ChatGPT is they take vast amounts of data on the internet, they scrape it, they copy it into their database, and
Mm-hmm.
from there they see whatever is. So going back to the workout example, say bench press is like the most talked about workout on Reddit, on Wikipedia. Yeah, Wikipedia. There's more articles on the bench press than anything else. So when you ask it what is a good chest exercise, it's going to rank the bench press first because it sees the consensus online is the bench press is the most talked about, the most positive workout. So when it does something like write a poem, for example,
Right.
it's going to analyze. Say you want to write a poem about a specific town that you grew up in. It's going to go through the page's Wikipedia page see like if there's any festivals or if there's any shops or whatever. It's going to remember all of those and then write them in a format that's congruent with like a popular poem. So it's just combining the data. It's just feeding you back data that's already accessible. Now there is something like I mentioned called hallucinations where it appears that it's that way, but it's not. Have you seen?
Hallucination.
Did you see?
I
Did you see this 60 Minutes report? It was just released like 2 days ago. They talked to Google CEO about AI.
okay. No, I haven't. Okay,
It's
and
really good. They
well,
they go over hallucinations. They do mention that there are instances where it learns something that they did not train it for, but
right.
it's
Yes.
it was a specific language.
That
I
is
forget
that.
what the
That
language
is
was.
where you're absolutely right, and that is from the Sri Lanka. That is where I got that from. That
Okay.
information that you got is from the Sri Lanka whatever department, some fucking AI department. I don't know. I don't know, but
Yeah.
but wait a second.
That's
Hold.
not necessarily consciousness. That's basically like the machine, the processors, the GPUs and stuff went out of their way to learn something that they weren't asked to learn. So it's a little different than it's not like a self-aware, conscious thing. It's like it just went out of its way to scrape something that it wasn't asked to. So
Okay.
that does sound a little scary, no
Yes.
doubt.
Right.
But it's not to the point like it's not to the point where it's going to
But then,
kill
so
us all.
why do we need to get to that point? Because we're obviously going to that direction.
Yeah, I'm not saying I don't think that we do. I don't think we want to. I don't want to be some some cuck for
AI,
a
right?
robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be pegged by like an IBM computer in the
Steve,
future.
just a couple of days ago, I seen a robotic dog going to rescue people in some fucking parking lot. I mean,
Yeah.
that's crazy. That's like this is exactly what the future looked like in those. Remember those '90s movies where they had like futuristic cities?
Yeah.
This right now we're living right now, I think, is way more advanced than they thought. Now we don't have the flying cars and everything, but as far as like the lifestyle and our way of living, I think it's way more advanced. Now, I want to go back to what you're talking about. Um, AI having conscious. I remember like, man, it got to be like 10 years ago that Facebook had a AI, right? And they had to shut it down because if I remember correct, they had to shut
Yeah,
it
wasn't
down.
it racist or something?
No, 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 no. It was doing something that they didn't instruct it to do. Like, oh yeah, it was creating its own language, and it was talking
Mm.
amongst other AIs. That's right.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that. I don't know. I am not familiar with that particular project. Um
And
I
so that
mean,
was 10 years
computers.
ago. So why don't you believe that it has advanced drastically?
Oh, it definitely has advanced. And I think we agree that probably someone should step in and make rules for this. I'm having fun with it now, but like I'm putting Kanye West's voice over mine. Should that be legal?
So
Or if I post it online, should he get a cut of if I get a certain amount of views?
gun to
Like
your
those.
head, gun to your head right now. If like the world leader came up to you and said, "Hey, Steve, keep AI or banish it," what would you say?
Could we keep it with regulations? Because I think that's what needs to be done. I mean, it's similar to the internet. The internet, we don't really think of the internet as a regulated thing, but it is. You can't just put anything on the internet. If you
Well, we're
put,
only using about what 10% of the internet.
yeah,
So I mean, you're right, but that's right. So
look,
even though there's
yeah, look
regulation,
at like what happened with Napster
uh huh,
when people were just downloading stuff, and then ISPs, internet service providers, had to step in and start threatening people like, don't download these songs illegally or else you're gonna get kicked off.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
something similar will happen with AI if they find out that you're using it for nefarious things. Like there's the whole issue with deep fakes,
So
putting
short
some super
answer, yes.
Short answer, yes. Yeah.
Yes, and so I'm gonna. This is where I disagree. I'm gonna banish AI. I don't know why we need it. Like, yeah, it's gonna help us save life, but like, I just can't see how a world economy could like keep its prosperity with that little amount of jobs that could be available.
Yeah, but you could say though that maybe new jobs will come up if not everyone has to have these boring jobs that can be automated. Like, what does it say about jobs that can be automated? Are those do people, should they have to do them if they can be automated? You know what I mean?
Well,
Like a
yeah,
cook.
but I really believe now that ju- I automation is good, but I really think people would rather much work with their hands. Like, people love working, so
Hmm.
yeah, it sucks to work at like a I don't know like a car manufacturing plant, sure, but they love it because it's something to do. And
Hmm.
yeah, there might be new jobs created, but I still think AI is going to take a lot more. Like, I feel like, for example, let's say a QA tester, right? Like, you would think, oh, how can they take their jobs? But for sure they could. For sure AI
Yeah.
could. For sure they could. And there's a
Yep.
lot of QA testers. What are they going to do?
Yeah. What did you think about Andrew Yang, who ran for president last time, and he talked a lot about universal basic income because people were going to lose their job from automation and
Oh,
stuff.
that's right. He did say that. Yeah.
You
Um,
almost, in a way, saw some of this happening, right?
that's right.
3 years ago.
Universal basic income, whatever it's called. I don't know. I wouldn't want it just because we see what happened with COVID and how people took advantage of the free money they were getting. Right? We saw a little experiment with it. This is actually shows you the communism doesn't work because people will just dissolve when they're not busy. And if you give them money just out of nowhere where they don't feel like they're like, rewarded, I think that's just the wrong path.
Yeah. Plus, it caused all that inflation. Like a burrito is like $15 now.
Where at?
Everywhere. If you order food, it's like double the price of what it was just a few years ago. Chipotle now, like I don't even order fancy stuff for Chipotle. I'll get like a burrito bowl. I think it's 14 or $15. It used to
Jeez.
be half of that.
I mean,
And then if
I
you get delivery, it's literally
don't
$30,
get me started with
bro.
delivery, but
Yeah, it's
I think it's
bullshit.
that delivery shit's so fucking. I hate it so much. But $15 for burrito? I've never heard that. In Chipotle, you said?
Yeah.
Jesus,
Jamie, pull it up.
Jamie, I need to see this. 15
You
bucks
gotta
for
get
burrito.
some. You gotta add the guac on there
Yeah.
though.
Oh, and you're adding. So the thing is, you're adding guac. I think that's the killer right there.
All
Do you
right.
really need the guac?
I don't need it. It tastes good though.
Does it does taste good? I agree, boy. Anyways,
Wait.
we were talking about AI, right? And
Yeah, AI. Yeah, I think it's good, but I think they need to regulate it.
uh
I
huh,
think Elon is. You saw the Elon Tucker interview.
yeah,
I think he had a lot of good points.
right. And this is where great that you brought that up. I want to talk about this thing called digital God. Now we're
Oh
a
yeah.
philosophy here. So open up your mind, right, and get reach deep in that rabbit hole, and let's hear it because digital God. So what does that mean to you?
I think it's dangerous, and like entrusting your belief system into some AI response is probably not good. People that criticize the Bible for the same thing, they're gonna be hypocrites and just believe whatever Google tells them or whatever Google AI's God tells them. It's a scary thought, but who knows if it will get that to that. I know that there are people kind of predicting doomsday scenarios with
Perfect.
AI. I'm not
Yes.
sure it will. I'm not sure it will get to that point, but
We sure
I
will.
would not.
We
It sounds
sure
like a
will.
cult.
It
It
will.
sounds like a digital cult.
Steve, I think this is the beginning of an antichrist. Now check it out. Check it out. Let's look at this for example. If they have AI, right, and it's advanced to the point where it has a kind of a conscience, and then this AI creates a Jesus figure, an anti like an anti Jesus figure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it wants to like are humans trying to make a I guess a cyber being that oversees everything?
It sounded like in that interview, it sounded like Elon Musk was alluding to the Google guys doing something similar.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't have eyes on that in the developer space. Mostly, it's people trying to make like some money just selling like fitness apps using the GPT API.
Yeah.
But you could see a scenario where it does play out that way, and eventually it will lead to something bigger, which is scary. I think everyone can agree that that's I don't want to again, I don't want to get pegged by a robot.
No.
That does seem like your worst case scenario, your worst nightmare. You wake up and you're being penetrated by an IBM processor. Um,
Well, here's actually
it's not
another.
good.
Here's another question for you. I was just thinking about it. Do you think human beings are just destined to be symbiotic with technology?
I was thinking about this the other day because what was I reading? Some article about how um, an AI system made a virtual town like The Sims. You ever play The Sims or watch someone play The
Yeah,
Sims, and it's like you
absolutely.
build a house, and then there's like a neighborhood,
Uh
and
huh.
the neighbors come over, and like the neighbor like fucks your wife and shit, and then your oven catches on fire. There was an AI experiment where um, they set up a town like this, and they each had their own like little lives, and they weren't conscious beings, but they had like a routine and stuff, and they pulled from GPT to see like the things people did during their
Mm-hmm.
daily life,
Right.
and it actually was working. So I was thinking, like, how crazy is it that in the future we will be able to build these simulations that are almost indistinguishable from reality, because not only is this stuff with AI getting better, but the processors are getting more powerful,
Mm-hmm.
graphics cards are getting more powerful. So each year graphics look better, even if you say, even if it's a 1% gain over year for the next 100 years, we're
Right.
going to see reality in terms of the way things look and the way things behave. So I think that's a possibility. I think we could, build simulations. We could, I don't think we're in one, but
You don't think we're
maybe
in
we
one?
are. Let me take a hit of this weed, and we
Yeah.
can talk about if we're in a simulation.
I mean, look, are we in a simulation or are we not? We don't really know. I mean, you
We
could.
don't.
It's not 100% sure. I mean, I just don't know, Steve. Sometimes I question that. Sometimes do I say, do we live in a simulation? Just because there's some instances in life where you're just like, fuck, dude, like how the fuck does that happen?
Yep.
And
Yeah, I agree. And it's hard to tell if we have something special, like our conscience and our free will. It feels like, and this is something Elon said in the Tucker interview,
uh huh.
it feels like we have something special. Like it feels like humans are unique, but is that just a trick our brain is playing?
Are
If
we
that's the
unique though? Are we special? That's a great
I don't
question.
know. If you could drive down the road and see two deers like fucking on the side of the road, did they have this like romantic, courtship where they like went on a date and they felt special themselves? We
Mm-hmm.
can't tell. We don't know if deer experience romance before they have sex. It appears to us that they just rape, like all animals just rape each other, but maybe it's not the case. Maybe they fall in love and they go on dates and stuff.
That's beautiful, man.
Thanks. Yeah,
Um,
it just came to me. So I don't
uh,
know if it was free will or if it was destiny for me to think up that scenario.
Now check out this scenario, and this scenario is could happen, man. Like I honestly think this could happen. So check this out. I, in some way, I do think humans are destined to be symbiotic with technology, just because of the way we're going. Like we're
Mm-hmm.
now, how we're now modifying our bodies, and you know, people are even questioning their gender, right? Like look at that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
eventually, people are gonna move to symbiosis with technology. So I honestly think you're going to see one day a baby that was born in a robot. So it's half
Mm-hmm.
robot and half human. And that's going
Mm-hmm.
to be, maybe that's going to be the Antichrist.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, if you think about it, we already are kind of in a symbiotic relationship with technology where
Mm.
it's not in us. Well, some people it is, right? If they have a pacemaker in their
Yeah.
heart,
Perfect
or
example.
if you get LASIK, right? If
Hmm.
my eyes are bad, I wear contacts, but if I get LASIK, it's like what we saw in X-Men movies, where they get superpowers. Professor X, gives them whatever superpowers, or they're born with it, or something crazy. Um, yeah, I think that's definitely possible, and I think if one country does it, like say China starts doing it,
Uh huh.
I think we're gonna have to, right,
Right.
to keep up. It's not, it's if every Chinese guy is 7 feet tall with a 12-inch dick and they can jump, 70 inches in the air.
Would you want a 12-inch dick?
I don't know. I've thought about it. I think about that a lot, actually.
I wouldn't.
Um,
I would be like,
no,
no, I honestly would just be happy with like at least eight. The eight, and that's it.
yeah.
Like
I
I don't.
think 8 is good.
Eight is a good one. I don't know why anyone would want.
You don't want to make them bleed. You don't want to
Yeah.
send them to the hospital.
Right. So
The girth, that's girth's another story. Actually, it's the same story. Too
yeah.
girthy, you could rip something. You know what I
And and
mean? So,
and your shit looks weird, right?
but yeah, but if you won a raffle
Uh
and
huh.
they said, "Hey, short bus,
Right.
come into the hospital.
Okay.
We'll give you an 8.5
Eight.
on the house."
Okay.
Would you get the 8.5, or would you pass?
Yeah, I'll get an 8.5. Sure.
Okay, there you go.
I would
So
definitely.
yeah, you would kind of welcome. It wouldn't be they're not putting part of a robot on you, but it is altering your body, your natural body.
If you had a giant schlong, would you be in porn movies?
Yeah, yeah, I would,
I would. I would
or at
too.
least an OnlyFans.
Yeah, I think I would too. Like if I
Yeah,
would just jerk off. That's all I would do.
yeah. I'm like a quarter of the way there. Maybe I'll keep growing.
Yeah. I mean, great conversation.
Like we're talking about dicks more than anything else. It's great.
No, come on. It's only been like what, like 30 seconds of dick talking. I
You
mean,
know what's funny though is like
uh,
it was probably feels great to like have like really big balls, but like you don't want really big balls because it usually means you have like testicular cancer.
huh. It does.
And plus, like they got to smack against your leg hard when you run.
Yeah.
So I would pass if I want to raffle for like massive balls. I think I would pass because I think at first it would be cool, and then it would be worrying.
Hey, I have a question for you. Do you have hairy
Yeah.
balls?
I'd say medium. I'd say
Medium. I don't
medium.
have any hair on my balls. Like, why?
Ooh. You've been taking that alopecia medicine,
I,
whatever Shim takes or whatever.
what's the a great bring up? How do you pronounce that fucking medicine name? I'm trying
I
to figure it out.
Let me look. I never put in enough effort to try and pronounce it. But let me look it up really quick.
And where did he get the balls?
Enzolytics
Uh huh.
IPF immune. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe if you poured that on your balls, it would work like Nair, and it would like it's like hair removal cream. Maybe I don't know.
No, I'm actually blessed that I don't have. I'm hairless down there. Really, I
You
really am.
are, yeah, yeah.
I'm hairless all around basically. Like I don't have
That's
any.
good.
I don't have any chest hair, Steve. None.
All right, we're kind of okay.
No. This is a podcast. Like, so what? Like, who cares?
Oh,
Like,
it's cool. No, it's
it's
cool. I
interesting
like
to
it. I
know
like
that,
it.
right? Like,
Yeah, it is.
it's
Got
interesting.
hair. I got hair all over my
You
chest.
got hair, and I don't have any hair. Like, we're the
Got
complete
it's
opposites.
on my ass too. The cheeks and the crack.
Mm, well, that now see that one's getting a little. We gotta cut down on that one.
Personal.
Yeah, YouTube might.
Okay. All right,
YouTube.
but your balls, your balls are hairless. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right. But the reason why I asked is because I was wondering, like, is that normal?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor, dude.
Oh,
I build websites. I don't know.
I like because you always hear I as a child like, oh, grow some hair in your balls, and I like as I'm
I
growing
think
up, I'm noticing I'm not growing hair in my balls. What is going on?
I think it's yeah. I think everyone's different. I don't know. Is that why you came? You asked me to come on here to ask about your ball hair?
That's a really good point.
No, I think everyone's different. I think you're probably fine. I think you're probably
No,
fine.
I know I'm fine, but it's
Yeah.
just interesting to know that like that expression I heard all my life, and that it is like, oh, am I normal because that never happened?
You know what
Um,
sucks if you got hairy balls and you shave them? Like sometimes I want to shave them because it's like too much. It gets prickly. Like your nutsack gets prickly. It feels like there's a porcupine between your legs.
uh,
You don't have to endure any of that, dude.
no, that's why I'm like I'm clueless. And what are you talking about? Like what?
Yeah, yeah, that
Porcupines?
happens. Yeah,
Oh,
because
jeez.
you can shave, but it's like you get a 5 o'clock shadow on your balls. You know what I mean?
Uh
Like
huh.
you probably get a little hair like on your like where you have a mustache and stuff.
I have
It's
a,
like it.
I have some facial hair. Like I'm not. I don't
Yeah.
say I have like a full beard, but I try. I try to grow as much as I can.
So if you grow it out for like a week or something, you don't shave it. That's like eventually what your balls feel like if you shave them and then it grows back.
Oh, for
But it's
you?
between.
For you?
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
that's nuts.
I've got pictures.
Well, I don't want to see him,
Prove
but
it.
ladies and gentlemen,
Okay.
that is a crazy experience, and I don't have to go through.
Yeah.
That,
You're lucky in
I'm
that
lucky,
way.
yeah. And so, is that it because of my culture, of my heritage? Do you think?
Uh, could be. I don't
Could be.
know. Yeah, I think some races and stuff are
And
hairier
that
than
brings us
others.
to our next topic, the Ukrainian war, ladies and gentlemen. Thoughts? No, I'm just kidding.
We're transitioning from balls to
Yeah,
Ukrainian war.
that's right. This is what we do here.
I honestly, it's time for it to come to an end. I think they got to
Uh,
come to an
all
agreement.
right, well, you know
You know,
what? I wish you didn't say that. I kind of had my own sign off. But, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this is a great guest, and I was honored to hear from Steve himself. Have a good night, folks.
yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you, Short Bus, for inviting me on. It
I
was
think
great.
it's not short, but it's fucking Constantine.